Well, welcome back. Sorry about that. We disappeared for a second while I was rushing around, and we have managed to get quite a bit closer to this rhino, and he's giving us the evil eye. They are built like tanks, aren't they? Now, you can see very distinctive sort of tears and notches in its ear, and that's one of the ways that rhinos are identified. So, as I was saying, the reason we do show rhino in the Mara is that they are very, very, very well protected, and almost every single individual rhino the Mara is checked on every single day by specific rhino monitoring teams. Wow, you're going to come closer to us? That would be wonderful. No, just having a look at us. I think he's going to head off into the bush shortly. So there's about 10 or 12 rhino in the triangle itself, and the rest on the other side of the river. And all the rhino here do go into the Serengeti National Park as well in Tanzania. And the rhino teams between Kenya and Tanzania have a really incredible understanding and working relationship where they are able to follow the rhinos across boundaries, international boundaries, and hand them over to the respective teams. So there you go, tails up. That's a bit of a sign he's a little bit annoyed. Not sure why. Or he could be a little bit excited. He might be looking for ladies. So he's about to disappear into that thicket there. Or hopefully not. Hopefully he walks along the edge of the thicket. Here we go. Spray, spray, scent mark. Oh, he's giving us a wonderful sighting this morning. Joy is wondering, why are his ribs showing? Well, Joy, with black rhino, that's quite normal. Even with white rhino, their ribs will show. It doesn't mean they're in bad condition. It's to do with how their stomach works. So they're hind-gut fermenters, so they're quite bloated a lot of the time. So that is why their ribs show. It's nothing to do with condition. Now, black rhino often have... Oh no, he's going to pop out the other side of the bush for one last second. Black rhino often have wounds and lesions, sometimes from fighting, sometimes just from flies. And that's given a whole bunch of stories about them. And my favorite one is about a rhino and a porcupine. And it's about the black rhino in particular, and it's an old folklore. I'm trying to remember which it's from. I think it could be a Zulu folklore. Or Xhosa folklore. I can't quite remember, but it is the story about why the black rhino spreads his dung. So, a black rhino, when they defecate, they kick their dung and they spread it out quite a lot. Now, the main reason for this is actually to ensure the scent spreads over a bigger area. But the story goes that the black rhino cut himself on some very sharp sticks, and he had a wound, and he went to Porcupine and asked if he could borrow a quill so he could stitch up his wound, and he successfully stitched his wound. And black rhino walked like this, so when they walk, and while he was walking, he was holding the quill in his mouth, and he was on his way back to Porcupine to give the quill back, and he went and he swallowed the porcupine's quill. And to this day, black rhino is too embarrassed to seek Porcupine, so he's always kicking around his dung, trying to find the quill so he can return it to Porcupine. So I think it was a Zulu or Xhosa fable. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check. Or maybe you could double check for me. I'm a bit rusty on where it comes from, but it is one of my favorite folklores about why the black rhino spreads his dung. Okay, doggy, let's go see what other wonders we can find in this magnificent ecosystem called the Maasai Mara.